These are various natural and dyed crystals, and we're going to take some 14 gauge aluminum and hammer it and wrap them. It's a fun process. Let's see. And this is only the second time we've ever done this, so we're just gonna wing it. And I think I'm just gonna take about a foot and just make a bunch of amoebas to start with. Maybe a little less. We'll take 8 inches there. We'll take 9 inches. See what happens. First, we're just gonna have fun. Make a top loop, and then make like arms. You got to make arms because the arms are gonna hug the crystals. So make arms, and generally you want to make at least 3 arms like this. You can make one arm on the bottom, or one leg if you want to call it a leg. Let's just call them arms. These are going to be like octopus amoebas. It's a new thing I coined. Hopefully that doesn't already exist. And there's really no right or wrong to these arms. Like, you just experiment and play, and if it doesn't come out right, you just try again. But generally you want to have a little bit sticking out at the end here, because that's going to wrap around, scarf around the top loop. So this right here is like a cool piece. Like, that's just a piece of art like that, right? Now we're going to take a little chunk of metal. I got this little baby anvil, but we're going to put something soft underneath it and then put it on a hard surface like concrete or something. And we're going to gently take a hammer, and no, a little more than gently. We're going to hit it pretty hard, but we're basically going to flatten it out. It's about how flat you want it to be. See that? And then, you do a little bit on the other side. So you do that across the whole thing. Now make sure no pieces cross while you're doing the hammering, because it'll make a weak spot and break. So no matter what you plan to do sculpturally, while you're hammering, everything has to be stretched out flat with no 2 pieces of wire crossing. All right, so we're gonna hammer that. Before we do that, let's make a few more amoebas. Just have some fun. Make some more shapes, thingies. Maybe we'll do one with skinnier arms, really skinny arms. Do one with a long arm and a short arm. Maybe we'll, this one there won't be a leg at all. We'll just do 3 arms like that. Just, you start to plan it out as you learn how this stuff works. Like, for me, I'm thinking these 2 arms are gonna wrap around this way, and this arm will wrap around that way. So I'm just kind of planning it out in my head. Do another one. This last one came out almost the same as the other one. If you want to do more arms or experiment more, just make a bunch and see how they work, or give yourself more wire. You don't need to just do the 1 foot or the 9 inches or whatever. But anyway, let's hammer these guys. Okay, they look like starfish jumping for joy and celebrating. But we're going to take this middle part here and wrap it. First we're gonna make sure our loop is as tight as we want it to be. And then I'm gonna wrap this guy. And the wire is going to fight you a little. You can still manhandle it. Don't be afraid that just because it's flat and it's harder now, that you can't put it exactly where you want it to. You can move it all around. It's a little harder to move. It takes more muscle, but you're not going to break it, most likely, just by bending it in different ways. So we want this to kind of scarf around to grab that. And then halfway across, cut it, and see, that makes a very sharp end. We want to tuck that sharp end in, right like that. Boom. Pinch it real tight, get the corner in. There you go. So it can never come out and scratch anyone. Touch it, make sure. You find any sharp edges, like there's a little sharp edge right there. I'm just gonna make sure that's hammered down. I don't know why, but you can always sand it too. But anyway, here we go. So we have our first one here. You can still play with these, like you can make them or the shape you want if they're not totally there. Okay. So do that one, and I'm gonna scarf these other two. I call it scarfing when you wrap this part, like that's a face and he gets a scarf. Instead of trying to bend it over like this, sometimes you can come around like that, like come around the back, like a friend reaching his arm around behind your shoulders, like surprise, I'm gonna hug you. And then you come around, then you fold it as you come around like that. Give it a little pinch if you need. Now see that messed up that part? It's okay. Just push it back where you want it. See, you can shape it however you like. There's no right or wrong. You just tell that aluminum that you're in charge. Voila! Let's see, which crystals can we pair these with. I'm gonna start with this big clear one. I'm gonna see what he can do with this guy. And I kind of wanted one to come up over the top, over the bottom, but it's turning out looking more like I have 2 arms and 2 legs to hug the crystal, and that's fine. So let's see how this works. Again, I'm experimenting with you. We're learning together. So we're going to wrap this arm around here and wrap this leg around here. Already I feel like the crystal needs to come up higher, so let's move him up a little higher. Just kind of squeeze him in there. Okay, I like that better. And again, immediately this crystal is a little too fat. I should have given myself more aluminum or picked a skinnier crystal. So, see how that worked? That's not totally bad. That's kind of cool, right? But it would work better with a smaller. So we're just gonna open him up. I'm just gonna have to let his crystal go. Sorry, guy. I have to get you a different crystal. Let's try this pink one. It's bright pink. Whoa, that is a really bright pink. All right, let's see how this goes. Immediately, it's much better grip. Yep, it's coming around really good. You know, we might have to use our tools a little bit. I'm trying to avoid using the tools, but I think right here, you gotta be careful. You don't want to crack the crystal, but this crystal is pretty strong, and the aluminum is pretty soft even after it's hammered. I mean, it's stronger after it's hammered, but it's still not as strong as the crystal. I think we succeeded. Let's see how that outer loop turned into like another loop. We're gonna pinch that a little bit, and we're gonna fold it. We're gonna push, trying to push every part around every part. I'm gonna fold that around that, and then you can just use this flat side of the pliers to press sometimes. And by pressing, you can move things, tighten things, move things more where you want. I'm squeezing that. See, I don't like this loose part right here. I'm pressing down right there. And I think I really like this. Doesn't look anything like what I planned, but I think it's kind of cool. All right, put that down. We'll work on the next one. Let's see. Let's try this green one. Let's see what happens here. We'll come around here. Wrapping, it's totally wrapping around this one. This one is really working, it appears. It's almost too much. So you got to play with this, find out what's too much, what's too little. The best is to make a whole bunch of these amoeba arms and get a whole bunch of crystals, and some will work. It all depends on the size of your arms and the size of the crystal and how the arms interact with each other, because if you don't mind the arms overlapping, then it doesn't matter as much. But I'm trying to get these arms to really like be side by side without overlapping. And so this part back here, I need to pull it up. This part right here, I need to smush it down. This one's getting all weirder and weirder. These parts you just push down get popped back up when you try to push the other side. That's okay. You just keep messing with it. Make sure your top loop is sticking out. Make sure it doesn't get obscured. At least enough to get some jump rings in there so you can connect it to your cord. I think this is good. I kind of like this. Now, see how this looks good, this looks good. That one's too fat. I'm just going to pinch it. There we go. Now they look more uniform. Pinch that one and pinch that one. Now they're all starting to look more uniform. And you're like molding it like clay. As you work with it, you just, you learn and you keep learning. So we have two now. Which one are we going to use on this? I really wanted to wrap this tiger's eye, but I'm going to have to make a much bigger amoeba for that guy with more arms. I think I want to do that one with the colored aluminum that's kind of like a dark antique copper color, even though it's not copper, it's aluminum. So for this last one, we have pink and green. I think we'll do the little amethyst crystal here. I think it's amethyst. Definitely has a purple, clear purple look. And let's see if we can get this. Should we get that one over the top? I don't think we're going to get one to come up underneath like that. Maybe in the future. I wanted to try that, but I just don't think we have the right angles for these guys. So we'll put him right here. Start wrapping that arm around. That arm's going to go all the way around. So that's kind of cool. He's already held tight right there. Look at that. Holding his amoeba and raising his arm for joy. Holding his crystal. I got the crystal. I won the amethyst. Slide it down a little or slide it up. So wrap the other arm around. That's a great one. You know what? I'm wrong. I think we can wrap this one over the top. We should have made, if you're going to make a bottom one to come up over the top, make it extra long, because see what's happening here? It's going to work, but it's not going to come up over as much as we would have wanted, right? Let's see, maybe if we push him up a little higher, and we'll open up the arms again, push him up. We don't want to lose the top loop here. Just reposition the top loop a little bit, make him a little higher. Make sure that scarfing isn't lost. Okay. All right. And we'll push him up a little bit more. There we go. All right, he's pushed up a little more. And yeah, this foot is not coming around over the top very much. We'll try a little bit. Oh, look, I can try to stretch it out from this side. Oh, there we go. Stretching out from the back. It's lengthening it. That's working. And it's not even affecting the arms. I thought that would affect the arms. Okay, this might work. This might actually work. All right, here it goes. Oh, success. Look at that. Oh, it's a little too much. Why do I say it's too much? Because the top loop is not showing now. I'll go a little bit less. There we go. That's good. Right there. Bam. Got him. Got him. All right. Squeeze that. Reposition that arm down there. Reposition this arm to go up. And we are good. We did it. Now that loop is barely showing again. We gotta squeeze them down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. This pink one needs some more adjusting now. I want to now that I saw what I did with the others, I got some ideas for how I can mess with it. Really get that last lip of the arm to come around. There we go. Just pinching it like that is what did it. Sorry, the camera's not catching every movement as I move around, and it's getting blurry at times, but I'm doing my best. Believe me, guys. Let's get that one come up more. Just twist it. Bend that one over more. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty solid in there. There we go. Not bad for our second try ever. These guys look really funky, and they look kind of space agey, don't they? They look kind of like alien. I think they look freaking alien amazing, right? Yes, they do. In case you're wondering what the answer to that question is. The answer is yes. Let's put 2 or 3 jump rings on each one and give them a cord. I would say chain, but I want to stick with this space age thing. Let's just give them a cord. And as I was putting the jump rings, this green crystal jumped right out. So be careful of that. I'm going to take this bottom arm, even though they were so perfectly spaced. I'm going to have to take this bottom arm and wrap it around the tip there to kind of hug the bottom of it to make sure it doesn't do that again. So I'm bending it right there, and then I'm going to pull it around and really try to bend it over here. Okay, after playing around, messing around with this, I just couldn't get the one arm to go underneath, because then it started popping out the top, and finally I realized this crystal actually has a tiny hole drilled through the top. So most crystals you're not going to be able to do this, but I just loved how this looked so good. I didn't want to redo it or put another stone in there, so I took a tiny bit of 28 gauge silver plated copper, and I just put it through the hole and just scarfed it and wrapped it right there. Put a tiny drop of E6000 on the back. So that guy is secure now. Normally, most crystals don't have a hole drilled through them, but you never know. Every once in a while, always improvise, always use whatever's available if you can. So these 3 guys, I think these 3 beautiful ones are ready to go.